Good evening, viewers all over the world. Thank you for always coming around to this channel to check on us. I remain my humble self, Pastor Mrs. Faith Obaze, and some also call me Nurse Brown. In our introduction at the beginning of this channel, we said something. I personally said I'm also a caterer, and I'll be coming with baking tips that can also help you. And this evening, I decided to take us through a lesson of how to bake a simple cake. My husband's birthday is just around the corner, and I decided to bake this simple cake, a beautiful simple cake for him. Yes, so I want you to go with me as I start and as I bake. So this evening, I have all my ingredients already prepared. Towards my left hand side here, I have my sieved flour. This is 1.5 kilo of flour. And I have my sugar. This is 750 grams of sugar. And here I have my butter, also 750 grams of butter. So I have my baking powder here, and this is 45 grams of baking powder. I have my salt, a pinch of salt. All you need is just a pinch of salt. And I have my nutmeg. Good. So one of the tips that I've learned over the years is to first of all prepare my ingredients, especially the dry ingredients, to one side and the wet ingredients to the other side. If you look at my table, you discover that I have some liquid, some wet ingredients on one side. The first one I'll be showing you is my egg. This is 22 pieces of eggs. You need that. And I have my milk here. Yes, for those who live in the Europe, this is just your 3.5 milk. It's a whole milk. So for those who are not in Europe, maybe you're in Nigeria, you can use your normal peak milk, but then you have to watch it so you don't put too much. Yes, so I also have condensed milk. Yes, this is condensed milk. I like putting it just to sweeten it up a little bit more. Then I have my vanilla flavor. I decide to use vanilla flavor. It's one of my best flavors. Sometimes I also use lemon and some other ones. So this evening, without wasting time, I'm going to be starting baking right away. The first thing we need, and this evening I also want us to know that we want to do the kind of mixing, we want to do cream mixing. What I mean by creaming is that first of all, you put your sugar. That is my 750 gram sugar. Then you also have your margarine. You put your margarine, 750 gram margarine. Yes. So then now we can mix. We are going to allow the sugar and the butter to mix. And this is creaming method. So many other persons, they have other methods. You can decide to use a melting method. That is a situation whereby you put your butter on fire, you melt it, then you put your sugar and just mix it. It goes faster. But for a kind of cake that I want to make, a special cake for my husband, I decide to use creaming method. Though it takes time, but he deserves the best. So follow me as we bake. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm going to start the machine. It's going to be a bit loud. So after, we need about an hour to allow this to blend. I'm going to pause, then come back after some time. Our sugar and butter has mixed. It lasted for about 1 hour. Like I said, this is creamy method. It normally takes time. So if you don't want to go for this method, you can actually go for the faster method, which is the melting method. But this method actually make your cake to be more fluffy. That is one of the advantage of this method. So I'm going to bring out my mixed pastry now. Bring it out. So if you are watching, wherever you are watching from, if you know you've not subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Facebook is also there. Please subscribe, and as you do so, we'll really appreciate it. So we are done with mixing. One of the ways you know whether your pastry is already well mixed is when you take a little scoop with your spatula and you drop it. You see it's dropping. This is just sugar and butter. It took about an hour for it to get to this point, and this is a creamy method. In most of my cakes, this is the method I use. So now we are going to mix the first of all, we'll go for the liquid, the wet ingredients. We'll mix them together. I'm going to take my egg, pour it here in the bowl. I've already whisked it. It has been whisked. Now we've gotten to the point whereby we mix our egg and our pastry together. So I just pour it, then I mix. If you are a baker or you're a caterer, maybe you do it, you have another method that you use to make your own. You can also comment below, or you feel there's a better way to do it. I've always been using this method and it has always been working perfectly well for me. So you can also share your opinion down below and let us see how your own method, how it works for you. So you just try to mix it together, and it's always good if you go in the same direction. What I mean by that is not you go like this and go again. No, you just try and maintain a particular mixing direction. It helps your mixing to be uniform. So in my bowl right now, like I said, I have my egg, butter and sugar. I always prefer to put all the wet ingredients first than before my dry ingredients. So right now I want to pour my milk inside. This is just a cup of milk. You just keep taking it in the same direction. Now I have my condensed milk. Some persons, they prefer to leave it out. It's up to you. So in this mixing, we are not expecting it to become so smooth. If you can see very well, if you can look through the camera, you see that it's not smooth, so don't expect it to be smooth. So I also want to go in with my vanilla flavor. Some persons will decide to put it before now, some will decide to put it in the sugar while it is mixing, and some other persons will also prefer to put it at the end when they've put their their flour together. So but right now I'm going to put it now. Whichever way you do it is also good. So because I don't want it to taste too much, so I'll just go with one. So that was my vanilla flavor. So you mix for some time again. So now I have my flour. I'm going to be pouring in my flour. So one thing about the trick about mixing in your flour is that as you are mixing, as you are pouring it in, you mix. As you pour, you mix. You pour and mix. With this, you are sure of having your cake having a cake for someone's birthday without having to pay so much. So I'm going to put right away my baking powder. And for the baking powder, there are some persons, they mix it together with the flour before they start pouring the flour inside the pastry. So whichever way you do it, it's okay. This is also the pinch of salt. You can have your pinch of salt inside. And this is my nutmeg. You can put everything together first as dry ingredients. Then you mix everything at the end together. Whichever way you do it how best is good for you. So we are going to be mixing it still in the same direction. If you have a very big blender, you can still do this in your blender. You don't have to use your hand. But because I have a small blender, I decide to mix it in a bowl. When it comes to the how thick your pastry is, you can decide to make your pastry a little bit lighter if you want to by adding more milk. This is up to you. You can decide to make it a bit lighter, but for me, I'm just okay with this texture because I don't want it to be too soft. I just want it like this because I'm going to be having layers on them. So while you are mixing your ingredients together, you put on the oven. I've already put on my oven for about let's say 5 minutes now, and presently it is hot enough. At the beginning I put it at 200 centigrades. When it is hot, I'm going to turn it down to 180 in order to make the oven to be well hot enough to bake well. So right now the mixing is done. We are going to put it in our pan. I've already creamed my pans. The edges are creamed with butter, and at the bottom I decided to put baking paper to make it not to stick to the pan. So whichever way you do your own best, you can comment below. If you do it, I've been doing it like this and it has been working very well for me. So if you have a better way to do it, please comment below. So we are going to put it in our pans. We are going to be waiting for about 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.